Alright, so Dokkan Official has officially posted the details for Exchange Boo's EZA. This has been a character we've been looking forward to for quite some time here, and again, this is a pretty just exciting EZA character. I did go ahead and translate his details, and we know pretty much exactly what this guy is doing here. So, I mean, honestly, I translated him. I do have my post here on Twitter, but I guess might as well just look here. So this is the base form of Majin Buu Good. You can see here he has Key 3, 150% attack and defense start of turn, which is very nice. We can see here he does get 50% attack on super. I forgot to move to the English translations, right? 50% attack when performing a super attack, 40% damage reduction, 30% damage reduction on top of that if there's a Majin Power category ally attacking in the same turn, which I think is pretty good. So as long as you have that Majin Power category ally attacking in the same turn, you are in fact going to be getting an additional 30% damage reduction for a total of 70%. Now 70% damage reduction is pretty powerful, right? I think that is really good. 70% is a huge number, and we can't really underestimate that. Now, they did also give him, again, starter turn defense, which I think is very huge. He gets a defense raise for 1 turn on a super attack effect as well, which is really nice. Then if there are no Majin Power category enemies, he does get an additional 50% attack and defense, which is really nice to see, right? I do like that quite a bit, that he has that, I didn't mean to click and grok. He does indeed have the extra stats against no Majin Power, because it's not going to be too common. You're going to be fighting Majin Power enemies anyway, so I just don't really think it's that big of a deal. At least personally to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal at all. So that's really good. Now, I think he seems like he's going to be pretty decent overall, this base form. I don't think he's going to be too drastically good, but for considering the fact that he's just the first 3 turns, or first turn basically, that he's on rotation, I definitely will take it. I think that 70% reduction, you will very easily be able to live. But could he live so much super? I think so, with 70% reduction, as long as you have the Majin Power ally. Again, that's really good, so very nice to see. Then we have the Pure Evil Buu. I do like the Pure Evil Buu as well. Again, he looks very good. To confirm, not much really changes. It's just a lot of attack differences. He does get 3 turn defense raised on his super attack as well. But of course, he does now gain greatly raised attack for 3 turns. On top of that, it becomes it does 3 turns for both of these. Then he also gains the ability to seal enemy super, which is very nice. He just gets Key 3, 200% attack, and then 150% defense. If you see here, again, it doesn't really change. The only thing that changes here is the extra attack. Just gets an extra 50% attack. Then he gets 70% attack on super instead of 50% attack on super. So they're just giving him more damage because, again, he has the same 40% reduction, then the same 30% extra reduction if there's a Majin Power category ally attacking in the same turn, which, again, luckily are his best partners. So, still, I think with a 3-turn raise, that's going to be very nice to see in terms of, like, you know, difficult content. Keeping this guy on rotation is what you want to do, which would mean that it's going to take a little longer to transform into him. In a sense, if you keep him on rotation, you keep the stack, but if you float him off, you won't get the extra defense stack for when you transform into Super Buu, which does suck if you are forced to float this guy, but I don't think you're going to be really floating this guy. He's, again, 70% reduction is very massive. And again, he gets another 50% attack and defense if there are no Majin Power category enemies. He has a great chance to stun the attacked enemy, and a high chance to evade enemy attacks, including super attacks. Now, before EZA, that was a medium chance. If you take a look here, medium chance to evade enemies' attack, including super attack. That now becomes a high chance, which I think is really good. That's even just that extra 20%. I feel like it's pretty massive. I do, that does definitely make a difference. So he's at 70% reduction with a high chance to dodge, man. That's just really good. That's just really good what this Buu is able to do here. I'm actually kind of like, okay, this guy's kind of cooking. He's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? In terms of his overall performance here, based on what I'm seeing on his details here, and we do know he has really good EZA stats, right? But That with further ado, I think what most people want to see here is the Super Boo portion of the card. So this guy is also really good. He gets massively raised attack for 3 turns, greatly raises defense for 3 turns, immense damage, and shield super attack, right? So what changed from there is, I believe, it was just greatly raised attack and defense for 3 turns. They just gave him a massively raised attack part there, and they kept the defense the same, which I think, again, makes sense. He has a lot of damage reduction. He gets Key 4, 250% attack, and 200% defense. 100% attack on super, which is, again, at that point with 250% attack, it's a pretty big number. He gets 50% damage reduction, and he gets another 20% reduction if there's a Majin Power category ally in the same turn. So that doesn't, again, throughout his forms, the damage reduction doesn't change. It always stays at a consistent 70%. And honestly, like, in terms of his defensive stat, I feel like it doesn't really change that much either. I mean, he has the defense raise here. It's only when he can get those multiple turn stacks, which would matter quite a bit, but it's like if you're not facing a Majin Power enemy, there's no difference in his defense and his passive. If you have a Majin Power ally in rotation and you're not facing a Majin Power enemy, there's literally 0 difference in the defense and his passive. It's really the super attack effects, which again does matter quite a bit. But what's interesting about this guy is that, again, just like he was when he transformed, he does lose the dodge, right? This normal exchange Boo right here, when it's pure Evo Boo, he has a high chance to dodge, but this guy does not have a high chance to dodge. He gains a lot of extra damage, right? So per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained, he gets 50% attack and a 25% chance to crit, right? So that's a lot. That's a pretty big number. I mean, again, if you do end up grabbing, again, 3 key spheres, like that's 75% crit chance and then 150% extra attack. It's gonna be quite a lot. I think that, like, that's gonna allow him to hit really hard. I think even if it's just 1 super attack, with all these attack links this guy has, Majin, Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Infinite Regenerative Give Attack, while starting Tall First Battle, he gets, again, a lot of attack links, which is pretty huge. So I think with him getting this multiplicative 100% stats, having the high built-in crit chance right there, it's going to be pretty good. Defensively, though, I don't think he's going to really need the dodge once he gets like the greatly raised defense, stuff like that. But from the end of the events, this guy is going to be potentially more of a slot 2 unit. Again, 70% reduction is just a gigantic number just for like damage reduction. 70% is where things start getting kind of insane, especially if you're going to have really good defense, which I personally think this Boo is going to have really good defense. I mean, let's take a look at Dokkan info. Let's say, okay, Blue Gogeta super attack. Let's just say 3.6 mil. Just a flat 3.6 mil. Then we do 70% of that, or we do 30% of that, I guess, right? Bam, it goes down to 1 million right there. So with that in mind, if you basically shaved off 70% of that, so we are still only at 1 million, right? So Super Boo is able to get to a defensive stat near like 1 million. He's going to be able to take double-digit damage, right? Once he super attacks, I think especially, it's something, you know, we could consider there. Or let's say like a 2.5 mil super attack, right? And then let's do times 30%, I guess, just as another example. So that's 750k, right? If I'm not mistaken on that. So then he would just need essentially 750k defense to take double-digit damage from a 2.5 mil super, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, by the way. Maybe I'm getting the math wrong, but I believe that's how it would work, again, because he's reducing damage by 70%. He's only actually taking 30% of the damage that the boss is going to be doing to you, which is a lot, and that's going to be consistent through all the forms. I feel like, again, this guy's going to be really well designed, because at the end of the events, I think, you know, Buhan, you could send a slot 1 at the end of these events. I think that you could arguably have in Boost in a slot 1 at the end of the events, or it doesn't even matter necessarily because you have the Ghost Usher. So in that situation, it's like, if you're running this guy with the Fat Boo on his team, and at the end of the event you have a Ghost Usher, like, well, it's still important for this guy to be strong defensively. In a sense, you could be pretty safe by going into the Super Boo, because it's like you're not taking damage anyways, and he's gonna do a ton of extra damage, especially if you're able to get 4 Rainbow Key Spheres, which, you know, guess what? It's gonna be very easy to get extra Rainbow Key Spheres when we have. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up here because it'll be easier to find him by this guy's link partners. But if we have, at least on JP, this is the EZA. Is he here? Am I blind? Is he? Okay, he's not here. But the World Tournament Fat Boo, he has to be here. This is the SSR version. Did you share less links with the TEQ version? I guess he might share less. This is weird. I'm probably just blind, right? But let me look up Mr. Boo. Yeah, this guy creates 2 Key Spheres, 2 Rainbow Key Spheres. So it's gonna be very common for you to get a lot of Rainbow Key Spheres here. But that is what the Super Boo is doing. This extra attack on the Key Sphere obtained, that is not multiplicative. That is all start of turn, but like, again, if you grab 3 of those, that's going to make this go up to 400% attack, essentially. And then he gets 100% on Super with all those attack links. You will do a pretty good attack stat, pretty high attack stat with his EZA stats and everything. I think this guy is a good EZA, honestly, overall. I do like his performance, but I want to know what you guys are thinking. I'm out of here. I'm uploading this video. Thanks for watching, and of course, I will catch you all in the next video.